Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every week we gather together to talk about movies, TV, and online content and help you answer the question, is it better to be late or never come out? Probably late. I'm your host, Ash Obley. Join me today, John Blight.
What's a reference?
Just this episode coming out late.
Oh, okay. Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Cool.
Not much thought behind this week's.
Yep, that's fair.
Yep.
In that case, I'd say late.
Yeah. On today's episode, we're talking about what's in watch history, going over to film news, giving some thumbs to trailers, and talking about this week's top 3. As we mentioned last week, Doctor Who is back. Bigger, better, more musical than ever. Of course, we've talked about the 2/3 episode premiere that got released on Saturday over on our Doctor Who podcast, Fish Fingers and Custard. But Dylan, do you want to share your non-spoilery thoughts on the first 2 new episodes of Doctor Who?
Yeah, really good. First episode's solid, like reboot introduction to Doctor Who. It's a very good starting point. I think if you've never watched it and you sort of want to get into it now that's all over Disney Plus, and you're like, what is this thing that I can finally watch in on a streaming service that doesn't run like ABC iView and look like it's 480p? That's great. It's called Doctor Who. Welcome. And then the second episode's a wild, wacky continuation of what was introduced in the Christmas special. Very wild episode, and if that's the direction we're going with the series as a whole, can't wait to not expecting every episode to be like that, but yeah, still can't wait. All aboard. Let's go. 2-2. Doctor Who's back. Or the TARDIS. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I obviously really enjoyed it. I don't know if this first episode was a great introduction. I think you definitely need to go back and watch if I wouldn't recommend jumping in on this episode. Go back and watch The Church on Ruby Road first. The first of the 3.
Church of Ruby Road is like you watch it, you're like confused, and then this episode's like a good okay. All your confusion, let's answer some of the
but I feel like you'll be even more confused if you didn't watch that one first.
Probably true.
Because this one episode picks up like directly after. Yeah. It's like, why is the TARDIS in their house?
A lot of stuff. They're like
in their apartment, you know? Also, is the Doctor repairing their roof? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I hope so,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. It is a little heavy-handed maybe with just dropping random bits of Doctor Who lore. Like, he's got grandkids and he's the last of his kind. He just kind of blurts stuff out. The budget is definitely something that, you notice the difference. Even though it still is that family-esque show, I guess, like family sci-fi kind of, the kind of show we can get around and watch it together. But yeah, obviously there's a fair bit extra production value and like cooler camera movements and more costumes and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think they're introducing interesting elements that we will have fun speculating about as the season goes along. Of course, Shooty's like fantastic as the Doctor. Like, another piece of genius casting by the people behind Doctor Who. Really, yeah, I'm excited to keep talking about the episodes. So make sure to listen to Fish Fingers and Custard, and we'll talk about Doctor Who every single week over there. Dylan, you went out and watched an advanced screening of a film that's out now, If. One of the most divisive movies I think I've seen online at the moment. A lot of people calling it one of the worst things ever. A lot of people saying it's actually pretty good. Where are you sitting?
I feel like I'm in the middle. Like,
okay,
I'm seeing a lot of takes, and I definitely feel like I'm. I don't think I neither lean heavily towards it either direction. So If is a movie title, for a start, like which is when you throw it out in the sentence, people are like, oh, that was it. If, right. It's a movie written and directed by John Krasinski, who was like, I made some horror movies, let me make this. Why not? So it is a kid slash family friendly film about a girl who has having a tough time. The movie never explicitly states it, but like within the first 5 minutes of the movie, it's like dad's sick, don't really know fully, it doesn't explain. Dad's played by John Krasinski. Mother passed away, cancer. That's all like in the first 5 minutes, I guess. So she's having life, right? And then she's living with her grandma, whatever you want to call. And she runs into upstairs Ryan Reynolds and a big purple guy who's called Blue for some reason, even though he's purple. And someone else, like a stick figure lady. So Ryan Reynolds is like trying to help find placement for these imaginary friends, which are called ifs, because imaginary friend, ha ha ha, so funny. So Steve Carell voices the big purple monster called Blue. Phoebe Waller-Bridge voices Blossom, the little stick figure 50s animated person, whatever. They're sort of your four main characters, I guess. It's like the girl, Ryan Reynolds, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Steve Carell. That's sort of the core bunch. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds is like, I'm trying to find a way, because these are all ifs who have had their kids, they've grown up, they don't need them anymore. So now the imaginary friends, they have no one, they have nothing, they have nothing to do in life. So the girl agrees to, she's like, I'm going to try and help figure out who to, a way to find these creatures new kids, I guess, is the setup for the movie a bit. It's funny at times. There was a few really good jokes. I think one of my favorite continuing jokes in the movie is that the early stage of the movie, Ryan Reynolds' character like it goes through, like they go to this like basically retirement home for a bunch of ifs, and there they meet, goes through a mall, and at one stage he nearly trips over, and he talks about how that the tripping over was actually an imaginary friend. And he's like, which sick kid dreamt up an invisible imaginary friend? And there's like several times in the movie where he'll just like trip over this invisible imaginary friend on the ground. I can't remember his name, but like he'd literally just trip over and be like, damn it, Fred, or like something like this. There's this creature lying over it. But there's all these weird things like, imaginary friends that are literally just ice cubes, imaginary friends that are dragons, like there's some like decent ideas in here. I think the movie's problem isn't that it doesn't have these cool ideas. It's just how it all comes together, which is, I guess, the thing. I don't think the main character, I think the movie thinks it takes this girl on like this really, huge arc and like life-changing sort of stuff. It doesn't really. And by the end of the movie, you're like, I don't really feel like there was a huge, like the movie feels like it's ending, and it's like, man, the whole audience should be crying right now. And you're like, no, not a tear in the room here, I don't think, guys. I don't feel like you pulled this off at all. There's other random characters thrown in, like there's this kid who has like a broken arm in the hospital. There's this kid who she connects to several times and stuff, and you feel like it's probably going to be more important or become part of the group, or I don't know, something, but nothing ever happens to him. So it's like, I don't understand this very weird character thrown in, I would say. And there's lots of stuff like that too, where it's sort of just like, I don't know, it feels like, I mean, if I was to put it, the easy way to describe it is like it's a solid, probably in my mind, like it's like a 6, right? It's okay, and it could have been a lot better, but it just feels like the first draft. It feels like scribble, lots of really cool ideas. Like someone sat there, like drawn up all these creatures, these imaginary friends. This is cool. Like lots of really cool stuff, and then someone should have read it and gone, yeah, but like, what's the point of this character? And like, maybe you should like, this scene, or like maybe there's a way you could add more so the girl's more relatable. Like, I don't. It just feels like it didn't. That's what's sort of missing. It just feels like first draft. Let's fucking bang it out. Let's get it out in cinemas now. Let's go. No one on the producing team said to John Krasinski, should like this, like, I don't know, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. And I also feel like my other thing is, I don't like, even though it's obviously targeted at kids and families and stuff, I don't feel like it's like, it's not super long, but an hour 45, I'm like, you're sort of on that reach of, for young kids, that's way too long. And the movie not heavily into dark themes, but does deal with death a little bit. And I'm like, okay, so you're touching on it. But it's also, I don't know, I just don't feel like it's a good kids movie. That's the other thing I'd say. So it's not a good kids movie, but it's also like not a super, like it's not good enough for, it's not that. It falls into that weird limbo of, I'm like, I don't know who this movie's for, you know?
Mm.
Like you want to be for kids, but I don't think it is actually good for kids. So then it leans back towards adults.
Why isn't it good for kids?
I don't think it's kiddie enough. I don't think the humor plays enough towards kids. The humor plays
So it's
more
just not
towards.
talking down to them, is what you're saying.
Well, I don't think it has to be that. I just feel like it's missing a lot of that. In simplest terms, it's missing the Disney charm, or something like that. It's missing. I also don't feel like any of the kid characters are. And this is a very weird thing to say because obviously I'm not a kid, but I do not think that the main girl character or any of the, and there's only one main girl, like a kid character in the film, other than that random other kid who shows up and then disappears, but every now and then. But I don't feel like kids could I don't feel like she's likable enough or relatable enough for kids. She's sort of trying to be too. They do a storyline where she's like, I'm an adult. I've grown up, but because they try and do that storyline, I just don't feel like that. I think that makes it unrelatable for kids. If that sort of makes any sort of sense, yeah.
Mm. You don't think there's just enough nice colors on the screen that all kids will be like, oh?
I don't know. The pacing's also weird. It's hard to fully go over it all. I mean, look, if kids love it, cool, good for them. I don't think it's gonna impress kids.
Mm.
I don't. And it's not gonna impress adults either. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's like I thought it was fine, okay, but I really, it feels into a limbo of who this movie is actually for.
Could you understand the ending of the movie?
Yeah, this movie's fine. Yeah,
I know. I've seen people have multiple group threads trying to figure out how that movie ended. So
no, the movie ends. It's very. What the fuck are you? What?
That's just what I read. Or I thought I read.
The fucking ending of the movie is straightforward as. It's not hard to understand. What are you talking about?
Maybe you're just smarter than everybody. Yeah, so that's
true,
If. In cinemas now. Crazy. So I saw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the big box office winner. You did?
Haven't I checked into that?
No.
My bad. Anyway, I've seen it too.
So yeah, this is the fourth.
I'll check into it now.
The fourth installment of the rebooted Planet of the Apes franchise. This one's set generations after the events of war, after the passing of Caesar, who has a funeral pyre at the start of the movie. And in this film, we follow a young chimpanzee called Noah, who's part of a tribe of apes who rely on training eagles as part of their culture and as part of their way of surviving. So that's a really interesting introduction to this clan of apes. Unfortunately, his clan gets abducted by a ape called Proximus Caesar, who aims to open up a human vault to get the human technology inside. So Noah has to Noah, who gets left for dead in his village, must venture across the country to try and find his clan. He befriends a orangutan called Raka, and comes across a young human girl who is able to speak, it turns out, despite a lot of humans, or what do they call them? Ghosts? Or no, echoes.
Echoes, yeah.
Yeah, of course, this is in a world where James Franco released a virus that caused all apes to become super smart and all humans to become lesser beings. So for a human to be able to talk 300 years plus after that virus has taken hold on the world is kind of a crazy revelation. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very riveting. It was an interesting world. It looks incredible. It's on par with the other Apes films we've seen so far. maybe not as an engaging story, but it's definitely on the higher end of the scale. You kind of believe all the relationships and that kind of stuff. I feel like maybe my only thing was everything kind of happened a little bit too quickly. I feel like they could have taken a little bit more time for events to play out, or like feel like things were taking longer. It kind of feels like, especially when he gets reunited with his clan briefly, it's like, oh, it's only felt like it's been 20 minutes since you've been separated. But Dylan, what do you think of Kingdom?
Decent first step for a new trilogy, presumably. But hopefully it's going to be similar to the other ones where the first film was the weakest. I like the new ape monkey. Good. I Raka was great as well.
Tell you what,
else,
these
whatever.
orangutans are always the best, most interesting characters.
Yeah. They are. They literally are. It's crazy. I think the movie was at its best when it was the two of them on a road trip for about 15 minutes there. That was great.
Yeah.
Just monkeys riding horses, talking about life. That was good. That was good shit.
Yeah. Talking about religion.
Talking about religion stuff. I was like, man, this is probably the best. Or even the start of the movie, honestly, like seeing them all like climb and do their I think the idea of like the fact that I found the stuff really interesting about, the apes growing up not knowing that they never ruled the earth, obviously. Like this is generations later. Like this is just their planet now. They don't I don't know, fucking different,
Like,
right? They have no idea. They're like, why?
The world was different before?
The world was different, yeah. Like I find that really interesting. And I find the fact that through generations that you've had groups like their clan start their own sort of ideologies and religions and whatever.
Yeah.
Like I think all of that's super interesting. What I didn't find super interesting was the villain, the girl, and these are the main factors of the movie, right? Not to say that they were terrible, but well, actually, you know what? The girl was terrible. I'm going to be completely
What, Frey
honest.
Allen from The Witcher?
Yeah. No, not acting. Acting was fine, right? It wasn't bad or good, but just as a character, super bland, uninteresting, zero fucks given. Maybe that was the point. Cool. I don't really get it.
I feel like that was the point.
But she's also on screen for a lot of the movie, and I just gave zero fucks about her. Full stop. Like, at least give me something. Like, she wasn't interesting. She was just so fucking bland. And then the villain as well, just like, oh, the villain's just someone who's like completely twisted. Oh no, that was out of the all. You've got two ideas of like legacy and lineage, right? Or three, I guess. It's like you've got like here we've split off and we're raising fucking eagles and shit now. And we've got a whole day where we didn't get to see, which really disappointed me because I'm like, what is this? What do they do on this day? Where they kept talking about like the eggs and they had this, like ceremony.
I want to see the ceremony, the bonding with the eggs.
Yeah, the bonding with the egg, like all these interesting ideas thrown out, and then you got Raka talking about like how his people with their little medallion and they're actually following the way of Caesar. All those are way more interesting and like directions for the film. And then you've got a villain who's just like, man, yeah, Caesar. Anyway, fuck humans. I'm gonna blow up this vault and get weapons. Cool. Whatever. It was fine. End of the movie, they definitely set up new directions for the franchise. I think obviously trying to head it more towards the original film timeline direction, I guess, is the hint of stuff. But yeah, I think it's solid. I would give it the first one, Rise, right? It's always confusing. Rise, Dawn.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think it's Rise. Yeah, because it's meant to be. It should be the other way around.
It doesn't make any sense, but that's probably a 7 to me, right? It's an okay start to the franchise. It just gets way better with the next two films. This is probably the same to me. 6.5, 7, probably sort of thing. Like it's a decent start. Gorgeous, beautiful film. Like cinematography paired with the special effects and everything. Because a lot of those real locations, they filmed it in New South Wales. Some of the stuff, so. Looks really good and everything else, but yeah, I just story wise, narrative wise, character direction wise, bit lacking.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's rough when your human character is carrying a secret that they don't really reveal until the very end of the movie. without kind of saying anything, But yeah, really interesting. There were some really interesting set pieces. I think the final. I think the climax of the movie is pretty solid.
The fight or the running away from the thing?
The
I'm trying to
both.
spoil stuff. Yeah.
I think they're both pretty good. I think there is one of the most brutal monkey deaths I've ever seen. with the pipes, squeezing through pipes, and yeah, the way they deal with the bad guy at the end was very satisfying. I wish it fell maybe like a couple of meters to the right, but that was my that was my only knock against it. But yeah, I think visually it's very interesting and like I mean, it starts with them running through like the forest, the remnants of like a city, trying to get eagle eggs or whatever. Yeah, I just kind of wished we'd gotten a little bit more of that because it's it's definitely an interesting world they thrust you in straight away, and then you kind of go in a very, and then the story kind of becomes very it becomes a story we've kind of seen a lot of times. Oh no, these raiders came and stole my village, so I have to go find them somewhere else, It's every Western / samurai story.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, really interesting. I'd be very keen to see what they do next. Like, are they going to pick back up with Noah? Are they going to pick up with what other people are doing? I don't know. But yeah, I'm when they first pitched the idea of continuing this franchise, I think a lot of us were pretty hesitant about what they would do after that. But
I think jumping ahead so fast was the right choice because it gets you such a big separation from the original films that
yeah,
it
absolutely.
doesn't feel like it's touching that. Even if this was terrible, you'd be like, it still doesn't touch. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
still
separated.
separate.
It doesn't sour those films, I guess.
No, absolutely. So over on Apple TV Plus, they've got a new documentary series called Hollywood Con Queen, which I've watched. So it documents the Hollywood Con Queen scam that was running in Hollywood between...
Say that word again.
Hollywood Con Queen. Queen.
Yeah. You can't even say it.
Yeah, so, I don't know, 2016 or something that to like 2022 or 2019. I don't know. So someone was impersonating high-level female industry executives like Amy Pascal, Deborah Snyder, Wendy Deng Murdoch, Kathleen Kennedy, and others, and getting...
So it wasn't Kathleen Kennedy's fault that Star Wars was ruined.
No, well, maybe. But they were calling up like gig workers or aspiring actors and stuff like that and getting them to go to Jakarta, go to Indonesia and like do work there. And like some of it they would be paid for. But then, they would just kind of end up racking up.
Who was the worst person that got fucked? Anyone famous?
I don't think it was anybody famous because obviously it's all lower, level people. Like there's a husband and wife couple who are like photographers, and they got told that want you to do this job in Jakarta. So go over there and take a bunch of pictures, and then they're like, they kind of got very sus because they were questioning the driver and that kind of stuff, and like the story got back to the scam artists or whatever, and that kind of stuff. There was another guy who. There was another actor who wasn't... His face is never revealed in the film or the series, who thinks he's auditioning or like trying to get a part in Doug Liman's Tom Cruise movie about them going to actual space. And he's kind of being led along over like a several month period. He's getting made to go do these fight choreography and fighting lessons and that kind of stuff and trying to work out and that kind of stuff and like doing buff. And then the person who's, I guess, impersonating Doug Liman is like making him watch like 3 or 4 movies a night and wants like in detailed character breakdowns from all these different movies and that kind of stuff. It's very weird. It's very weird in the fact that there seems to be no financial benefit in any way for this scam. Because you're just getting him to go to Indonesia and then
a bit of fun, isn't it? It's a bit of
just
fun.
get you a bunch of flights. So yeah, eventually there was a Hollywood Reporter, I think, article about the Con Queen, kind of, mostly letting people know that it was a thing. And then the writer kind of like followed the story, and kind of eventually figured out who was behind it. And because he started working on a book about the story, he decided he needed to actually track the person down and find them. And he was able to find where he was staying with the benefit of social media, Google Maps, all this stuff. It's a very wild story. There's a very an interesting character behind everything. This documentary kind of reminded me of the, what was it? The Octopus Murders. That documentary. In that, I don't think it provides a satisfying answer for why these things happened.
So I don't know if I want to watch this because Octopus Murders, as I said, I watched it.
I don't think it's as crazy as that. I think there's a little bit more rationale.
Fuck knows what was going on.
And it's an interesting... There's interesting actual people around it and kind of stuff. It's not as much of a mindfuck, but I was left unsatisfied as to... It doesn't provide definitive answers as to why this happened, what was the true motivations, and that kind of stuff.
Can they though? Or is it just unrealistic to ask that?
Sorry?
Can they, or is it unrealistic to ask them to have that information? Or is it like a lack of investigation?
There's a reason that their time with the person behind the scam comes to an end.
Okay, they die.
Not that tragic. But I don't know. I felt like it was a worthwhile watch. It's only the 3 episodes. They're only about an hour each, so yeah. It's an interesting documentary to watch on Apple TV Plus. Dylan, you went to the cinema and watched Abigail.
Finally.
Here's the question. Why did you decide on Abigail as the movie to go see?
So there's 2 movies I wanted to watch that weren't playing here when I was in Melbourne.
Yes.
Abigail, not playing here.
Mm-hmm.
Or oh fuck.
Challenges?
No, not Challenges. That's playing here.
Oh.
That's not my problem.
You still haven't watched it yet?
Yeah, I haven't had the fucking time, man. I went and watched fucking If instead, didn't I? That was it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good decision at the time. Fuck you.
We got so much content out of it.
You did. So, whatever. Fuck me, right? No, When the Devil...
Late Night with the Devil?
Late Night with the Devil, right? They're 2 movies. They're the 2 I wanted to watch. Now, it came down to which one was playing a time that I could make work. And that was Abigail.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Late Night with the Devil starting at fucking 8 p.m. every night.
It makes sense. It's late night.
Does make sense. However, I'm currently very tired. I was very tired every night. And if I did 8 p.m., I would have fallen asleep or not wake up. Anyway, so Abigail, that's how I ended up.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
You have to go again to watch it.
Oh, that's a secret. Make them fall asleep so they keep coming back to your movie. I don't think that's a good sign at all. No. So that's why. Challenges I still want to watch. I should hopefully be watching that soon. Obviously, still playing cinemas. I still want to go watch it, but yeah, that's why Abigail, not Challenges. If that was your main question. Anyway, Abigail's really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Good.
Fun. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I sort of expected to watch it, like it. A Radio Silence hasn't done a bad movie in my eyes. I thought the cast was fantastic. Pretty simple premise. Sort of combines Ready or Not with a vampire movie. It's like all set in one location. Obviously, I mean, you talked about it on here a month ago. Whenever the fuck you watched it, seems like forever ago. Anyway, here I am. Finally catching up. I thought Melissa Barrera was fantastic in it. Dan Stevens was an absolute arsehole. Love that for him. Catherine Newton was great. I don't know. The rest of the cast was good too, but Kevin Durant, Muscle, he was fun.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He's in this. He's did you know he's Proximus?
Yes, I didn't until I checked after coming
You
out of
checked
cinema.
after,
I checked IMDb. I thought it
Two
was-
different characters.
yeah, very very different characters. But no, I had a great time. I thought the leads. It's very funny. It's a lot of it's very enjoyable. It's still got lots of blood when it's necessary. Little girl's great. Still can't believe that's Matilda, but anyway, here we are. And just happy to keep supporting Melissa Brewer.
Yeah.
Fuck Paramount.
Yeah. Okay.
Glad I got to watch it at the cinema. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. I don't know. How did you feel about how the movie eventually got to the big reveal?
What's the big reveal?
She's a vampire.
I mean,
Spoilers if you haven't watched any trailer.
Yeah, it's literally in the trailers. How do I feel about how they got to it?
Yeah, because obviously, it's marketed as a vampire child movie, but it tries to play it like
I don't think it
you
tries to
didn't know.
play it. It's just I don't think it plays it like you don't know. I think it just plays it the characters don't know, right?
Yeah, I
Is that
guess.
the whole thing. Like,
I mean, I feel like obviously it would play different if you never watched the trailer.
I'm
It'd
sure
probably
it
play
would.
better if you didn't watch the trailer.
Probably.
Like, what? It's a vampire?
Yeah.
Or maybe you just get angry. It's like, what? Of all the things it could be, it had to be a fucking vampire.
True.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the actual scene. I thought it was great. They all just come downstairs and start like the fact that they're like, all right, what do we know about vampires? And then fucking some of them are like the fact that Catherine Newton character's like, oh, Twilight, Sparkle, garlic. I think actually that scene where she goes and grabs the fucking onions.
Yep. I think that
Stellar.
clip is starting to make its way
Stellar.
around the internet. Yeah.
Very funny. Very fucking funny.
Yeah. How'd you feel about the ending of the movie? Because I felt it kind of went a little bit. I think Buddy was more angry about it, but it kind of became a little bit derivative. It's like, oh, okay, this is where this is going.
It was definitely. I think my main complaint would be, it's like nearly 2 hours, right? Change the ending, cut 20 minutes off, call it a day.
Yeah.
Once a certain thing happens with it's hard to say without spoiling it, but certain thing happens with one of the main characters that should probably have that be part of the that's heading towards the finale at my mind. Then that's the showdown. 10 more minutes with that, play out 10 minutes from there, big showdown, blood splatter, save the day somehow, characters live, characters die, credits.
Yep.
That's how I change it. I mean, I don't hate it because of the ending, but I would agree that it goes a bit too long.
It goes a little bit too long. Wish some dialogue had been cut.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think it was interesting. I just wish it kind of been handled a different way. Yep. All right, so that's Abigail in cinemas currently still. I'm sure it's coming to VOD very, very soon. Dylan, I'm sorry, the Tasmanians hate vampires. All right, let's move on. So you watched a movie called Corner Office starring John Hamm.
We watched the trailer for this, didn't we? On this?
I can't remember.
So it's John Hamm coming to an office every day. I swear we watched the trailer. John Hamm comes to an office every day, and he thinks he's found a corner secret office that he goes into, and it's luxurious and it's the fucking best thing ever. However, everyone else in his office just sees him standing against a wall, completely zoning out. Now, they all think he's insane, right? Well, there's something wrong with him. He thinks they're all fucking with him, and they're insane. The whole movie is done through primarily the inner monologue of John Hamm's character and what he says. Now, you of course, you hear other characters talk and stuff every now and then, but it's mostly his inner monologue. And the movie also entirely takes place, apart from a couple of shots from the exterior of this office building, it's all within the office. I thought it was great. Now, it's got terrible reviews, from what I can see. I'm going to write up my own review, hopefully soon. I thought it was pretty great. It definitely hit scratched some sort of weird itch for me of just a oddball movie. I mean, look, I would go into it this way. It's not a movie that fully explains itself, right? Which I guess is part of what could turn some people off. The people hate when stuff isn't fully spelled out to them. I think either if you go in viewing it as, I just think this is someone who is either super high functioning, like autism or something, right? And I feel like maybe the movie's meant to be like the point of view of someone going through life like that. And it's meant to help you have an understanding of what they go through and what helps someone like that, like, be able to work and get through the day, like in a more grandiose scale. That's what I was thinking, especially when you hear some of the dialogue and stuff like that, I think. Or my other step down would be, maybe it's just a metaphor for what some people have to do to get through the mundanities of like an office job like this. There's the two directions I'll go. But either way, I think it's very weird. It's definitely not going to be for everyone, but I enjoyed it. Had my full attention. John Hamm's great. It's really weird. He it's like he did Mad Men, and he sort of made like the sexy office worker, like the cool character that everyone wanted to be, office worker sort of character, and now he's spending the last 10 years like unraveling it. It's great. I love it. Good for him. So anyway, Corner Office.
Corner Office. All right. So finished watching season 1, or I guess, I'm calling it season 1 of X-Men 97. The successor to the X-Men animated series, or X-Men 92, I've seen a lot of people call it. Yeah, it's a show that's gotten better as it going along. I think, there is a pivotal episode that everybody's been talking about, where the kind of the tone, or like the stakes of the season kind of were raised incredibly. Yeah, the season kind of where it goes in a very interesting direction. I feel like a lot of people may have expected them to do something that kind of retcons or like rewrites all the damage that had been done over the course of the season, but it definitely does not do that, and kind of, more than anything, kind of doubles down on on these terrible, disasters. Kind of the ramifications of those kind of ring true to all the way to the end of the season. I think it's really well animated, capturing the look of the original series, but also like, it's super action heavy and done in a way that, I don't think they could have attempted to do back in the day. It is like tackling like some really deep X-Men lore, like in talking about characters that a lot of people will probably, is not like household name kind of villains and that kind of stuff. And yeah, obviously, they tease a potential season 2, which will be interesting because, of course, for those who don't know, the head writer of the season was fired like on the eve of the show being released, even though he's still being very heavily talked to about online and that kind of stuff. So whether they bring him back for a season 2, or like they have a new head writer or whatever, that, but it's definitely leading towards a season 2 of X-Men 97, which I would be all on board for. So yeah, I would highly recommend checking out X-Men 97. It's probably one of the better things that's been released this year, especially animation-wise. So let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. And I watched a new Netflix documentary called The Final: Attack on Wembley. So this is a documentary focused on the Euro, I think 2020. It's the 2020 Euro final. I don't know if it was actually held in 2020. No, so it was Euro 2020, but the final was held in the 11th of July 2021. So obviously, the UEFA Euros is a big football or /soccer competition where it's just the European countries competing against each other. Of course, England is a team that is a perennial loser and doesn't ever win any of these big trophies despite inventing the game and not having won the World Cup for years and years, for decades or whatever. So they finally make it to the final of the Euros, a chance to finally win a big trophy. And it's being played in England at Wembley, which is considered kind of the home of football or one of the best football stadiums in the world. So all the English people, now also remember this is post most of the pandemic, post a lot of the lockdowns. So a lot of people are excited about this final being held in England. Of course, because of COVID, there is restrictions on the amount of seats they could sell and that kind of stuff. So there is, despite potentially millions of people wanting to go to the actual game, only even less limited amount of people can actually buy tickets to go to the Euro final in Wembley. So the documentary kind of documents the day of the final, in which a lot of people actually went to Wembley to like party before the final and like were openly drinking on the streets and that kind of stuff, through to people ticket holders trying to get into the stadium, but then also people trying to force their way into the stadium so they could go see the game because, they felt entitled to. And for a lot of people, they were very successful and actually did get into the ground to watch the final. So yeah, it kind of documents the events that took place that day, how they kind of miraculously stopped it becoming like a major human disaster and that kind of stuff. One of the more interesting elements is the English team is playing the Italian team. So you have this Italian man who lives in England. His daughter was born in England, but they're trying to support either. He's trying to have foster her relationship with Italy through the soccer. So he gets her to support the Italian team. He takes her to the final, but he fucks up and gets tickets amongst English supporters instead of getting the tickets amongst the Italian supporters. So for like half the game, they're getting abused. Like it was pretty close. It's touch and go. So yeah, I thought it was a really interesting documentary. Obviously, and someone who's got an investment in sport and that kind of stuff.
Like a bit of the ball sport.
Yeah, it's even, and the events of the film are even funnier if you know how the the match had played out. So,
why? Who won?
So yeah,
Who won?
Spoilers. Italy won.
Well,
so there's all these people who've like forced their way into the stadium,
just to watch them.
to hoping to see England win, and then they lose.
Was there a riot?
No, in fact, it probably stopped a riot from happening because at the end of the match, they obviously have to open all the gates to let people out of the stadium. But outside, there's all these crowds of people who could have potentially bum rushed the police and tried to force their way into the stadium so they could see England raise the trophy or whatever. But because they lost, they're just
like, fuck off.
They're like, fuck, and just left, depressed. So yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, so really fun. We all know football's never coming home. So yeah, that's everything I watched this tree. Let's move into a little bit of film news. Big story this week. Looks like we're going back to Middle Earth again. Warner Brothers says it will release the first of its new batch of live-action Lord of the Rings films in 2026, which will focus on Andy Serkis's Gollum. Original Lord of the Rings trilogy filmmaker Peter Jackson and his partners Fran Walsh and Philip F. Bowens are producing the movie and will be involved every step of the way. The project is currently in the early stages of script development with writers Walsh and Bowens, along with Phoebe Gittins and Artie Papagorgio, and will explore storylines yet to be told. In a press release from Warner Brothers, the studio revealed that the working title for the film is Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, and it will be directed and star Serkis in his iconic titular role. Dylan, are you excited for a feature film centered around Gollum?
No. So apparently it's based on a good story or something, so I've been told by nerds. Cool. That's what they said about that video game, which I believe is based on the same story. But look how that turned out for him. So, based
I
on a
can't
good story
believe
can
they're
only take you so far.
adapting it so quickly. It's crazy.
It's crazy. But I'd say even having said that, I guess Andy Serkis gives me a little bit of faith. He's a man of talent when it comes to these sorts of roles, and he's proven he can direct. And that
Has
TV
he?
show we like, Venom 2 is a masterpiece. So sure. I'm open but not excited is how I would describe myself for this.
Yeah, I think I'm probably a little bit more pessimistic. I
Pessimistic,
feel like we've
really?
Yeah, I feel like we've gotten Gollum's story completely told over the course of, the Hobbit movie, then the Lord of the Rings. What more is there to say on
He was
Gollum?
sneaking around and doing some stuff,
And we know it has to take place in between that because it's not a sequel to the Lord of the Rings. Otherwise, it's going to be a very short movie where one person steps up to Mount Doom and looks in the volcano and there he is.
There he is.
Hunt over.
Burn it up, little fucker. Right, bye, Gollum.
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like a weird one. I guess it's the easiest one to tackle because it's not something directly tied into any current law or any projects they're currently working on. Obviously, they have the Lord of the Rings TV series, but then they've also got the Lord of the Rings animated film that's going to be coming this year, next year. I don't know. They're about to show it at an animation film convention in the next couple of weeks.
Animation film convention.
Or festival, I guess. Film festival. But yeah, it's a weird one. Why Gollum? Of all the characters you could delve into the history of more, why Gollum, a man that we've seen so many times?
People love him.
I guess it's the easiest because you don't have to recast, I guess. You just have Andy Serkis do again. It's pretty easy. Whereas it's like, let's go explore the years that Aragorn was, Strider in the forest. What was he up to? You can't get Viggo to come back.
Just de-age him. It's fine.
Nobody wants de-aging anyway. Yeah. So we're going to be getting more Lord of the Rings. I mean, how do you feel about Peter Jackson that being, involved? Does it give you more confidence or less confidence?
Nah.
Is this going to be a trilogy of movies?
Old mate did the Hobbit.
We love those movies. Anyway, speaking of spin-offs to projects that we know and love,
sure.
The John Wick universe is continuing to expand with or without Keanu Reeves. Lionsgate has announced that a new spin-off set within the world of the beloved action franchise is on the way. This one will focus on Donnie Yen's blind assassin character Kane, who was first introduced in last year's John Wick Chapter 4. While much of the film remains under wraps for the time being, it will pay off a subplot that was previously teased by director Chad Stahelski. According to Variety, Yen will star in the currently untitled spin-off with Robert Askins set to pen the script. Production is due to begin next year in Hong Kong. The spin-off is said to continue Yen's story arc following the events of John Wick Chapter 4 as Kane has been freed from his obligations to the High Table. Dylan, does this excite you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that what we like?
That's what we speculated, so they're finally giving us what we want.
Yep. You're like, cool, this is a thing that's happening. I was like, yep, cool. Okay, yep. I'll watch that. Thank you.
Yeah. Obviously he was arguably the best part about Chapter 4. No offense to Keanu.
It was Keanu. It's always Keanu.
I mean, they were on equal setting for he was fantastic. And, the more Donnie Yen we can get in Western action movies, the better.
Yeah. Just a blind man trying to get his daughter back,
Yeah. And he's crossed the wrong people. Anyway. looking forward to that. More John Wick stuff. That's that's a franchise that's to get bigger. Dylan, I don't know if you noticed, but this week was network upfronts.
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't notice until I started to read through the news. Although both Disney Plus and Amazon Prime Video had upfronts and like announced a bunch of renewals and that kind of stuff in different projects, or confirmed dates, or showed stuff behind closed doors that nobody could see. But one of the recurring things we do here at What Do You Want to Watch is at these upfronts, there's a bunch of new network TV shows that are getting announced. So I like to play a game with Dylan in which I give him list off a bunch of new TV shows that are coming. He tells me if it's going to get more than one season. So you ready for this year's iteration?
Hit me.
All right. Things off. We got Happy's Place. Bobby inherits her father's bar and is less than thrilled to discover that she has a new business partner in her half-sister she never even knew she had. Starring Reba McEntire.
Who?
Reba McEntire.
Who the fuck's that?
It's like a reasonably big country star. She had her own TV show in the past.
No. One season.
All right. Then we got St. Denis Medical, a mockumentary about an underfunded, understaffed Oregon hospital where the dedicated doctors and nurses try their best to treat patients while maintaining their own sanity. Starring Wendy McClendon Covey, David Alan Greer, Alison Tolman, Josh Lawson, Mickey Leeper, Kuyun Kim, and Kaliki Kauihi.
No, everyone's over him. Too many hospital shows.
We've got Brilliant Minds, inspired by the late author and physician Oliver Sacks. The series follows a revolutionary, larger-than-life neurologist and his team of interns as they explore the last great frontier, the human mind, while grappling with their own relationships and mental health. Starring Zachary Quinto, Tambula Perry, Ashley Lathrop, Alex McNichol, Ori Krebs, Spencer Moore II, Teddy Sears, and Donna Murphy.
Let's say no, one season. That sounds way too complicated. People aren't tuning into that, right? No. I keep having to separate. I'm like, not streaming services, but
no, this is
TV.
free to air television.
Yeah, so I'm saying no.
This one's.
Yeah.
We've got The Hunting Party, a high-concept crime procedural about a small team of investigators who are assembled to track down and capture the most dangerous killers that country has ever seen, all of whom have escaped from a top-secret prison that's not supposed to exist. Starring Melissa Roxburgh.
Who?
Melissa Roxburgh.
No, one season.
Wow.
There can only be so many shows, Ash.
It's true, but they all go... They still need to have shows. We've got The Americas. Narrated by Tom Hanks, the series will employ revolutionary filmmaking technology that will showcase the wonders, secrets, and fragilities of the Americas, Earth's largest landmass and the only one to stretch between both poles, and reveal extraordinary, untold wildlife stories that deeply connect with millions around the world.
I'm going to say yes to that one. Free heartwarming, right? That's what people want on free
Sure.
TV.
We've also got one called Destination X, merging fantasy with reality in this larger-than-life adventure competition series. Viewers will follow contestants as they embark on the road trip of a lifetime, but have no idea of their location. In order to win, they must figure out their mystery locations. Once they're on the blacked-out Destination X bus, the journey transforms into a real-life game board, with challenges designed to offer clever clues as to the location, along with a few misdirects to keep them guessing.
I don't know what the fuck you just said, little man, but yeah, sure, 2 seasons. People love them backwards ass, whatever that show's called. It's backward greatest race.
Yeah. We've got Sheriff Country, a straight shooting sheriff investigates criminal activity as she patrols the streets of a small town, Edgewater, while contending with her ex-con father and a mysterious incident involving her wayward daughter, starring Marina Baccarin.
Yeah, sure. I think, yeah. That's a name I know for a start. So,
Right.
10 out of 10.
We've got Going Dutch. An arrogant, loudmouth US Army colonel is reassigned to the Netherlands, where he is punished with a command post at the least important army base in the world, starring Dennis Leary.
I'm going to say yes to that. That sounds quirky enough to get audience.
We love making fun of the Dutch.
Sure.
You got Universal Basic Guys. Follow two
That's me.
brothers, Mark and Hank Hoagies, who lose their jobs in automation and are given $3,000 a month in a new basic income program. Cast to be determined.
Nah, I got enough. I don't have enough. Nah.
That's pretty boring, yeah. We've got Doc. Follows a brilliant chief of internal and family medicine at Westside Hospital in Minneapolis, who must navigate an unfamiliar world after a brain injury erases the last 8 years of his life. Starring Molly Parker, Omar Wally, Amaria Van, John Ecker, Anya Banerjee, Scott Wolf, and Patrick Walker.
No, I'm still saying that. No.
Next, we've got Murder in a Small Town. Follows a man who moves to a quiet coastal town to soothe the psyche that has been battered by big city police work, but turns out the gentle paradise has more than its share of secrets. Starring Rossif Sutherland, Kristen Kurek, Maya Lowe, Savona Spracklin, Aaron Douglas, Fritzy Clevens, Distine.
Christian Kirk, hey?
Yep.
In
2024.
2024. That's no, actually no.
No. We got Rescue, High Surf. Follow the personal and professional lives of heavy water lifeguards who could patrol and protect the North Shore of Oahu. Starring Robbie Magasiva, Ariel Cabell, Adam Demos, Kikoa Kikamano, Alex Aouni, Zoe Cripes.
Yeah, I'll go for that one. I think that could have that has an audience, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's a modern day Baywatch.
Yeah.
With no slow motion, I assume.
Never know.
We've got Extracted, survival competition series in which the contestants are not in charge of their destiny.
What?
That's it.
No. But I'm probably wrong. Of course it'll get 2 fucking seasons. But no.
Yeah. And then we got Dr. Odyssey. Follows an on-board doctor for a luxury cruise ship where the staff works hard and plays harder. Starring Joshua Jackson.
No. Still no.
High Potential. A single mother with 3 kids and an exceptional mind helps solve an unsolvable crime when she rearranges her evidence during her shift as a cleaner for the police department. Starring Caitlin Olsen.
What? The fuck is that? What does no.
Last one is Scamander, a docu-series about
Damn.
the story of Amanda Riley, a wife, mother, blogger, and Christian, whose tragic cancer tale captivates thousands, but after an anonymous tip to an investigative reporter, her own words may prove to be her downfall.
That sounds like a mini-series or something, right?
It's an unscripted docu-series, I guess.
Really? Okay, right. Yeah, that one, sure, yes. Well, hold on, no. You can't do 2 seasons, right? So no. Change my mind. How do you do 2 seasons? No.
It could be an anthology.
All right, yeah, I'm back in then. Sure. Sure.
All right. That's it. So I guess we'll wait 12 months to see how we did.
History will be
Yeah.
the judge, I hear. So.
History will be the judge, but also the American viewers who will
Yeah,
or
true.
will not tune in to watch these.
Good point.
All right, let's give some thumbs to the trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers we're about to talk about in the show notes below. Starting things off with Fancy Dance, directed by Erica Tremblay, starring Lily Gladstone, Isabella DeRoy Olsen, and Shea Wiggum. Since her sister's disappearance, Jax has cared for her niece Roki on the Sidika Cayuga Nation Reservation. Every spare minute goes into finding her missing sister, while also helping Roki prepare for the upcoming powwow. At the risk of losing custody to Jax's father, Frank, the pair hit the road to track down Roki's mother in time for the powwow. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Fancy Dance?
Yeah, double thumbs up. Looks great. Lily Gladstone looks fantastic in it. Storyline, something I know nothing about. Well, I know something about, but like not. It's always interesting to see stories within this aspect of America and from that point of view. So, yeah, double thumbs up. Okay.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. I will say it makes more sense watching this now, or thinking about it now, having read that description. Because the entire time I'm like, I thought Shea Wingham was Lily Gladstone's father. I'm like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, why is the grandfather getting custody?
Fucking hell.
Anyway, yeah, Lily Gladstone, she looks fantastic. It looks pretty riveting stuff, you know. Just family trying to be on the run, trying to be together. What happened to her sister? I want to know now.
They got you. You pulled in. You've got to be there.
They got me pulled in.
Midnight screen.
So this one is releasing on Apple TV Plus June 28th, with some limited cinema screenings, probably in America first. Next trailer is for Thelma, directed by Josh Margolin, starring June Squibb, Fred Hischinger, Richard Roundtree, Parker Posey, Clark Gregg, and Malcolm McDowell. Thelma Post is a 93-year-old grandmother who loses $10,000 to a con artist on the phone. With help from a friend and his motorized scooter, she soon embarks on a treacherous journey across Los Angeles to reclaim what was taken from her. Thelma, what do you think of the trailer for Thelma?
Looks great. Looks very funny. June Squibb looks absolutely brilliant in it. Tonally, just so unique and weird and zany. Looks like, yeah, great time. So double thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up as well. Timely movie. Go show it to your grandparents because they're the ones who are getting scammed by these people. With the voice thing. No one is, if they get arrested, no one is going to ask you to send $10,000 in the post. That is completely unrealistic in 2024. So please don't send money.
Yeah, but send money
that way. Terrible. But yeah, looks like a lot of fun. I'm excited to see these crazy car chases with the motorized scooter. I like. She's got a lot of great lines in this. Whether it's like on Facebook, can't Mark Zuckerberg, Zuckerberg
fix it or whatever.
Fix it or something.
Yep.
It's like, how hard's a gun? Idiots use them all the time. Which is totally true.
The thing is, yeah, exactly. She's not wrong. So.
She is not wrong. So yes, I'm looking forward to this. It is releasing in the US on June 21st. Currently, no Australian release date. Next trailer is for Didi, directed by Sean Wang, starring Isaac Wang and Joan Chen. An impressionable 13-year-old boy learns what his family can't teach him. How to love. No. An impressionable 13-year-old boy learns what his family can't teach him. How to skate, how to flirt, and how to love your mum. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Didi?
Looks like a lot of fun. Sort of not from the family side, but the muck around video cameras and all that sort of stuff for fun, very relatable for that age, and skating and whatever else. So, yeah, reminds me of, fun times. I guess being a teenager and everything. Look, it looks like a good coming of age movie. different, but with a different different backing, I guess, with like going like it's not a you get the white kid family and you get some new ideas.
Yeah, it seems like it's a very specific story, but also a very universal story at the same time.
Yeah, there's like parts that I'm like, yeah, that's relatable, but that part's not. And yeah, so yeah, I'll go double thumbs up as well.
Yeah, this is 2 thumbs up from me as well. Didn't like I saw the trailer kind of going around and people were like giving all the praise. Obviously, this was this debuted at Sundance and got a lot of acclaim there. Yeah, this looks like it might be one of my favorite movies of the year, so I'm very keen for this one. Just hits all the vibes and that kind of stuff, and like I'm enjoying the humor and that kind of stuff, and you know, yeah, I'm a sucker for a good coming of age movie, so this looks like it's right up my alley. So 2 thumbs up. Very excited for this one. Not excited by the fact that it is releasing in the US on July 26th with no Australian release date.
Of course.
Next trailer is for Exploding Kittens, created by Shane Kasakowski and Matthew Inman, starring Tom Ellis, Sashia Zamata, Susie Nakamura, Mark Proshk, Ali Mackey, and Kenny Yates. The eternal conflict between heaven and hell reaches epic proportions when both God and the devil are sent to Earth in the bodies of chunky house cats. What do you think in this trailer for an animated show based on a card game?
I'm gonna go one up, one down. Like it a bit more than stuff I've seen before. Still don't sort of love it, but I'm like, maybe it could be fun. Like within like watching the full episode of jokes play out. So one up, one down.
This is 2 thumbs up for me. I'm on board for this ridiculousness. The ridiculous idea of God being sent to Earth in the body of a cat to rehabilitate his image is very funny to me. And then God proceeding to just enjoy being a cat is also very funny to me.
It's fun to just.
It's fun to just knock shit over. Did I laugh hysterically when God is just given the devil cat the double fingers while the garage door is closing? Yes, I did. Not afraid to say it.
It's fair.
I've enjoyed him puking all over the place at the end. So yeah, I'm on board. Tom Ellis, who obviously people would know from Lucifer. Great piece of against typecasting. Played Lucifer, now he's playing God. So yeah, I'm on board for this. Releasing in July on Netflix. Last trailer for this week, Megalopolis, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, starring Adam Driver, Giancarlo Esposito, Natalie Emmanuel, Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, John Voight, Jason Schwartzman, Talia Shire, Grace Vanderwall, Lawrence Fishburne, Catherine Hunter, and Dustin Hoffman. An accident destroys a decaying metropolis called New Rome. Caesar Catalina, a idealist architect with the power to control time, aims to rebuild it as a sustainable utopia, while her opposition, corrupt mayor Franklin Ciero, remains committed to a regressive status quo. Torn between them is Franklin's socialite daughter Julia, who, tired of the influence she has inherited, searches for her life's meaning. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, a Fable?
Fuck if I know what's going on. I'll go one up, one down for a teaser. Very like interesting imagery, big cast, looks good. You feel like you're watching something special, maybe. Who's to say? I'm highly intrigued. It's an okay teaser. But yeah. So one up, one down. More confusion than anything, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. One up, one down. Obviously, this is like this crazy project that Francis Ford Coppola's been working on for ages. I got more from reading that premise than I did from the actual trailer. So, I mean, that's not a great first sign. admittedly, it is a teaser trailer, but there are definitely some interesting visuals. It looks like it's going to be very impressive, but everything else we've heard around this movie doesn't instill a lot of hope, including quotes this week in which people have said it was like watching a train wreck, and all we can do is stand here, and say we tried to stop it from being a train wreck.
Which maybe it will be, but it's going to be a very good looking train wreck, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Megalopolis. I think it doesn't have a release date. It is set to air.
It's going to get beamed into your minds.
It is. Yeah, I think it's still waiting. I think they're still working on a deal to get distribution and that kind of stuff. But it is about to compete at Cannes, so we will be finding out within the 24 hours of this release whether this movie is good or not, according to critics. All right, let's move into this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And this week's top 3, in honor of F, is top 3 Ryan Reynolds movies. Dylan, what's number 3?
I'm gonna be honest, this is a hard list.
This actually was a hard list because I'm like,
I love a lot of Ryan Reynolds movies.
Yeah.
So number 3, I went Paperman. Ever seen this movie?
No.
So it's a movie in which Ryan Reynolds basically plays an imaginary friend who's a superhero to Jeff Daniels, who sees Ryan Reynolds as a superhero. It got terrible reviews. I quite liked it. It's a very odd film. I think the performances were good in it, and all the problems were maybe just some of the stuff. But what's his name? I want to find it out. Captain Excellent. There we go. And then like Emma Stone plays this like the daughter, and she's like, Dad, you're just fucking losing your mind. Yeah, so he's really good in that. I think he's quite fun, weird character, bleach blonde hair in it. Cool. That's my number 3.
Yeah. My number 3 is The Proposal, which he stars opposite Sandra Bullock as her assistant, who he fakes an engagement with in order to help her get her visa renewed. It's a fun time. It's a fun rom-com. They have great chemistry. It's not too zany. But yeah, I think Ryan Reynolds is really good in this. So yeah, that's my number 3. Then what's the number 2?
Deadpool.
Okay.
It's Deadpool. It's his biggest role. It'll be what he's forever known as. What more is there to say, really? Like, it was going to be on the list, surely. Deadpool.
Yeah. I mean, my number 1's Deadpool.
Yeah.
He got perfectly cast back in 2000 whatever when he was in X-Men Origins, Wolverine, the abomination of that movie. He went off and played a green dude for a little while instead in the superhero world. Then he finally got to wear the red tights properly. And, we're seeing the fruits of that labor. Yeah. Great movie. Very excited to see the sequel later this year. So Dylan, what's your number 1?
Number 1 was Buried, which I think is the best actual performance I've seen by Ryan Reynolds in a movie. It's a film in which he's put inside a coffin and buried alive with a lighter and a cell phone.
It's like real time almost, right?
Yep. Really intense movie, claustrophobic film, obviously, but very good performance from because he has dialogue at times, but there's just a very physical performance also, I think, from Reynolds. I think it came out when I was in high school and something like that. But it's always been like one of those. It's sort of sometimes when people are like, he can't act, he's just one note. Like, I think this is sort of like one of those films I just always think of for him where I'm like, no, he can. Like, he definitely can. He can pull off more notes than the one that he does now for 20 movies in a row. Yeah. So Buried.
So my number 2 is Detective Pikachu.
Sure.
He does a lot of good voice work. I'll give him
Turbo.
that. Turbo, really good. He's really good in The Croods as Guy. But his work as Detective Pikachu just fits that perfectly for the tone of that movie and that kind of stuff. It would have been better if he was like a gruff dude who wanted to talk about how much coffee he wants to have, but we can't have everything in the world. We can't have perfect adaptations. But he's really fun in that. So that was my number 2. Number 1 is Deadpool. That's this week's top 3. Dylan, this partial week, what do you want to watch?
Oh yeah. So am I doing? Hold on.
I don't know. I don't know if there's really anything. We'll say the Big Cigar TV series is coming to Apple TV Plus tomorrow. Might check that out. Thelma Unicorn is coming to Netflix.
Fuck yeah.
Let's watch a pony become a unicorn.
So yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. When we record this show late, it sort of fucks this segment, doesn't it?
Yeah, because the movies are out.
So
You're going to go see
everything's
The Stranger Chapter 1?
I mean, no, I need to watch challenges, don't I?
All right, let us know what you want to watch this week. By going to exposure.com/Twitter or jump to Discord at exposure.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do I Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars and equally 5 stars. Just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode and thought it was worth $1, even though it was late, head on over to our Ko-fi page at exposure.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.